Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen. My name is Hagit Messer-Yaron. I'm the president of the Open University. You are most welcome here. Actually, we had on the list 140 people who registered for this conference. Maybe the weather is a problem, but fortunately we are going to record it and to have it on the internet so the people who are going to miss it can see it later. It's a great pleasure, great honor to have you here, devoting this afternoon to speaking about women in science. I will open with few introductory words. Then we should have Professor Ruth Arnon, the president of the Israeli Academy for Science and Humanities. Unfortunately, she is sick, so she apologized. Then we'll have Neil Sherman from Fulbright to say his words, and then we have a busy program. Beside Ruth Arnon, all the speakers are here. We give you 15 minutes in the middle to recover the talks, but I am sure it will be interesting. So this is what we have today. I want to give credits to this wonderful cartoon to our friend that produced this. This is a network of women, Portuguese actually, who illustrate the challenge of being a woman in science. What we are focused today, in today's conference, is on a specific issue regarding women in science, and I will elaborate a little bit about it. Usually when we talk about women in science, there are two dimensions. One dimension, what we call the horizontal dimension, is the distribution of women among different academic topics or research issues. And this distribution is not uniform, and we'll say a few words about it. The other dimension is the vertical dimension, meaning the promotion of women in science in academia, which is also a problematic one, as we'll see shortly by data that is going to be given to us by Miriam Erez. And the main observation that, as I said, that on the horizontal dimension, the distribution is not uniform. There are less women. Women are underrepresented represented in STEM, stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And there are also fewer women at the top, what we call the scissors diagram. Just to give you some data supporting what I just said, this is a table from the very recent publication of the European Commission. This publication is called She Figures. I very much like this title. She Figures has several meanings. The first one was published in 2003. The new coming publication for 2012 is not yet published. It is going to be published in 2 weeks, I think. But there are few tables that came out. And one of them is this table, which describes the distribution of women in different topics: natural sciences, engineering, technology, medical sciences, agricultural sciences, social sciences, and humanities in different countries. Here you have a long list. I cut it because I want you to be able to read. So it starts with Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, etc., etc. As you can see here, in some topics, in humanities, in social sciences, in medical sciences, the share of women is around 50%. It's different from year to year, from country to country, but altogether, this is about to be balanced between men and women. But when you look at engineering and technology, the share of women is much lower. Actually, it varies between 20 and 30%. There is kind of improvement when you compare 2002 and 2009, but altogether, as I said, women are underrepresented in this field. In particular, I'm a professor of electrical engineering. For today's meeting, I looked again at, this is not the latest version. Daphna, where is she? Okay. So last night I changed these slides to put here the most recent data from the IEEE, which is the International Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. It has about 400,000 members around the world. Actually, this data is from 2009. From last year, it was 415. So this is the updated version, which is not here. But the share of women is less than 10%. Actually, I was very happy to see that in 2011, it was raised to 10.01. So we passed the 10% border. But this is definitely a case where women are underrepresented. Okay, this is the updated one, you see? So it's connected. Also, an interesting observation about women in engineering is data that I collected from the Faculty of Engineering at Tel Aviv University, where I came from. And it shows the current body of students in engineering in different topics of engineering. So if you look at electrical engineering, there are different versions of electrical engineering with physics, with computers, etc. The total share of women in Tel Aviv University students now is 60.2%. 2 years ago, it was 70.1, so it is not improving. Actually, it's the other way. If you look at mechanical engineering, which is another core topic in engineering, it's the same thing. It is today 13.3. It used to be 2 years ago 14.5. On the other hand, when you look at biomedical engineering or in industrial engineering, the share here is much higher. In biomedical engineering, it's more than 60%. It was almost 60% 2 years ago. In industrial and management, engineering and management, it's more than 50%. So what we can see here, that in emerging topics in engineering, the proportion is different. Maybe it points on a change. If we have time, we discuss it at the end on the panel. Now, another observation that I want to share with you is what I call the vertical dimension, which shows the share of women and men in different level in academy. This is again a chart from the SHE figures, and it looks at students at different stages. This is the starting stage of students. In Israel, we will call it undergraduate student, master, PhD, and then under the faculty level, grade A is like full professor, associate professor, assistant professors, etc. So what we should typically here is what we call a scissor diagram, meaning that as students we have more women than men. When it comes to faculty, the direction changes, and when we come to full professors, then the share of women, this is average in Europe, is less than 20%. If we look at the change over time, so we change from 16 to 18%, this is very typical to say that we have also a problem in the vertical dimension. We focus today on this scissor diagram, but with a very special case. We start with topics which are underrepresented, which are what we call the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. If you look at the scissor diagram in this case, it starts with a gap because the share of women is less than 50%, even when you look at undergraduate students. So we start with 30%, but even so, the gap is growing when we go to higher levels. So what we have in today's conference, we have few top researchers from here, exactly in this circle. They came here from physics, from chemistry, from biology. They will share their experience with us. So we look at the extreme case in both dimensions. In the horizontal dimension, the part where we have minority of women, on the vertical dimension, at the very top, full professor, where we also have minority. So this is where we focus on today's meeting. And I'm very glad that we have our guests brought here by the Fulbright Foundation. We will hear from them. We will hear from a local professor from Tel Aviv University. And then we will have a panel where you have a chance to discuss with us a few of the findings and the observation. So let's hope that we'll have a very interesting afternoon.